Equal parts heartbreaking and a cautionary tale, Adolescence is a story of how one young man's monstrous actions can send shockwaves through a community and a family. Let's start by saying that this show does cover some sensitive topics that will be hard to censor, so there's your warning. The show opens with a police raid on the Miller house where a SWAT team take a young Jamie Miller into custody. Each episode of the show is shot in a one-take style and all takes place within the same 50 to 60-minute span. Once in custody, we are slowly drip-fed the details of the incident where a young girl was attacked late the night before. Her attack is seemingly caused by the hands of Jamie. This show's first episode does a great job of setting up the idea that maybe they have the wrong kid and the series is going to be a whodunit. Did he actually do it? Until we are hit with the gut punch, much in the same way of Jamie and his father, there is CCTV footage of his attack. Or there might be some part of you that wants to feel bad for Jamie and his father. There's some part of you that should take issue with the fact of how firm the detectives are being with Jamie. He's a 13-year-old stupid kid, but you also need to remember, she was 13 too. She was young with a family too. The second episode picks up a few days later at the school with the two attending detectives, and we see the effects the attack is having on the students. Some laugh and make jokes, some are grieving, some say they saw it coming, and some fake ill will for attention. This might be when we get the bulk of the story with the detective Luke and his son. His son explaining something about the manosphere and real quick, I want to take a time out. To other young men out there, let me be clear. These guys are not alphas. They are not idols or examples to be followed. If you're looking for heroes to emulate, there are several. From Captain America, Superman, Goku, Mr. Rogers, Captain Picard, Charles Xavier, LeBron James, to many others. There's a difference between someone that exhibits traits you should emulate versus a clown you should laugh at best, or dread at worst. A strong moral compass. Develop that and the rest will come. The idea that 80% of women are attracted only to 20% of men, so you have to trick them by being nice and understanding. How about you just try being nice and actually be fucking understanding? It's not that hard to develop a multi-dimensional personality. Foster your interests and learn how to keep your anger in check by respecting women the same way you'd respect an alpha, in quotation marks. Look, if it seems like I went off the rails there, it's because I'm frustrated. I have a little guy, and one of the biggest words I had before he was born was that I don't want him to grow up to be one of those guys. But since he's been born, it's clearer now that in order to raise a good man, you need to show him what it means to be a good person. Empathy is not weakness. It takes strength to be willing to help those around you and carry the burden of responsibility. Being tough isn't kicking people down, but lifting others up. Sorry, I'll get down from my soapbox for now. It's around these points that the show begins to lose steam for me on some level. It's not to say that's bad, but I wish we had more time to go into the effects that this tragedy had and all the negative effects of toxic masculinity. I know that's a buzzword, but the fact is there is positive masculinity and then there's toxic masculinity. Episode 2 ends with Detective Luke taking his son out for a snack, recognizing he needs to be more present in his son's life. Episode 3 is another bottle episode that follows Jamie while he's locked up and awaiting trial. He's being examined by a psychologist to try and understand what Jamie understands and why he reacted the way he did. Maybe not as a defense, but perhaps as a way to look for red flags when there seemingly weren't any. The episode culminates in Jamie's outburst when he finds out that this will be their last meeting. Once he's taken out, the therapist takes a moment to collect herself, cry, before leaving. Did she cry because she recognizes the gravity of the report she's going to have to hand in that will most likely put Jamie away? Was it all the stress of dealing with Jamie, or is it that she couldn't react the way she wanted to, so she had to hold it in? I'm not sure. The final episode might hit the hardest as it revolves around the family of Jamie, his father Frank, his mother Misha, and his sister Lisa. It's Frank's birthday and he wakes up to being harassed and his van being vandalized and spray painted. When they go to the store to buy stuff to remove the paint, Frank is confronted by a guy who thinks that Jamie is innocent. And not in a smoking gun kind of way, but in a weird, this guy isn't all there kind of way. All the stress of what's been happening boils over when Frank attacks a teenager that he thinks is the one who tagged up his van. As the family drive back home, they get a call from Jamie since it's Frank's birthday. Jamie informs him that he will be pleading guilty to his charges. It's almost a gut punch as the family comes to terms with the fact that Jamie will be going to jail for a long time. It's not a debate anymore. There is no trial or judge. It's a fact. He's going away. We see the effects his actions have when sister says, "Even if we move, I'm still going to be targeted. I'm a sister." But she doesn't hate him, she worries about him. Misha is disconnected from the neighbors and is self-blaming, while Frank has a downward spiral. How could this happen? Frank makes a point of mentioning that his father was abusive, but that he would never hurt his son the way his father hurt him. He never laid a finger on Jamie. They gave him freedoms, bought him things. They treated their kids equally, but still, one turned out to be a good kid while the other one is, well, you know. I think that's the scariest part of this show. In theory, they did everything right, but Jamie still turned out to be a monster. In these stories, there isn't really a bright side, but instead simply a lesson to be learned. I'm not going to cheapen this show by giving it a rating, but I will say it reminds me a lot of the show Defending Jacob. Another great show worth watching. If I have any negative notes, is that I wish that there were more episodes covering Jamie's stay in Juvie, the trial, the courts, the public perception of the crime, and the loved ones of the victim, the trauma of the family. I think this show was restrained, and it didn't need to be. Well executed for sure, but I wish there had been more. That said, what did you think of this show? Let us know down below, we'd greatly appreciate it, and you stay safe, everyone.